all in one. Software One.
Spectrum News 1, Wisconsin's go-to source for the Green Bay Packers, delivering inside access and in-depth analysis. Nobody brings you more green and gold programming across the state. On TV and all of your favorite devices. We are Wisconsin's 24-hour news channel. Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum.
The NFL Draft is coming to Green Bay. Don't miss your chance to experience the ultimate NFL Fan Fest.
Welcome to the NFL Draft.
April 24th through the 26th. Register for free entry at nfl.com/draft access.
Welcome to the Roundtable on Spectrum News for the NFL Draft. We're at the bar in Green Bay. And the scenes you can see here. Everybody's excited about round 1 this evening, rounds 2 and 3 Friday night, rounds 4 through 7 on Saturday, and all in Green Bay. I'm Dennis Krause. This is the Hall of Famer, LeRoy Butler, former Packers and Badgers running back Gary Ellerson. Thanks for joining us for this very special edition of the Roundtable, where we have a very enthusiastic audience.
I guarantee you they won't see the 23rd pick. They have no idea.
Let me ask you guys about the draft being in Green Bay. Obviously, this is the first time Green Bay has ever hosted this event, and this is one of the NFL's marquee events.
You know what, Dennis? I think it's pretty special, right? Because we'll never get the Super Bowl because it's so doggone cold here. But this is the next best thing. And really, let's give credit to Mark Murphy. This is his baby. Developed it. Now it's here. I think the Packers organization, Green Bay, Ashwaubenon, Oneida, I think all the communities here and around, they have did an excellent job of creating this atmosphere where fans can come out and enjoy this draft. I thought it was put together very nicely.
And LeRoy, you have a unique perspective as a former player, but also as a board member. You see Mark Murphy up close as he leads this organization. As we know, he's retiring this summer. This is a big part of his legacy.
That's the key word, Dennis, legacy. But I got to say something. Gary, we got to hurry up with this show. Gary got to have his suit back by 7. Man, that's the cleanest I ever seen him look. But let's be honest. When you replace somebody like Bob Harlan, it's going to be hard. But his legacy, Mark Murphy, if you had told me or Gary my 2 eras, the 80s and 90s, even the 2000s, you're going to host the NFL Draft, people would have said you were out of your mind. But I'm so excited for everybody to see this particular state, not just Green Bay. Because Green Bay on a game day, we can handle about 90,000 people in and out. But you're going to have hundreds of thousands of people come in to see football immortality and the history of the Green Bay Packers. And I am just beyond excited for people to see that.
Some are saying, Gary, this is the biggest event ever in Green Bay. I mean, FDR spoke here in 1934, but the crowds that LeRoy was talking about, this is more than just a Packers home game.
Well, you're talking about upwards of 250,000 people, but if you think about it, right, you're talking about 32 teams being represented here just in small Green Bay. So you have a fan base that's full of 32 other teams that are out here. I mean, you walk around here outside, you're seeing all these different teams being represented, so which I think is nice. But if you really think about Green Bay and what it means to the NFL, then as you know, you and I do a post-game show. It's not lost that we have done this show, and there are people from Australia, there are people from London, there's people from Germany. I mean, this is the grail of, I would say, of the NFL, where everybody want to come and just at least one time be at Lambeau Field.
Yeah, that's very well put, and now I'm disliked in 12 different countries, which is nice. Let's follow up a little bit more, LeRoy, about Mark Murphy. Now, when he came to the Packers, they won a Super Bowl rather quickly, but he's had to oversee the organization during a time of transition. And obviously, Titletown was a big imprint of his, as is this.
You know, the way you put it is so eloquent. You must have got that from your wife, man, 'cause you on your point this week. Dennis, I want people to understand, go all the way back. They had a young man, Mr. Jones, I think.
Yep, James Jones.
For a brief minute. And then, okay.
John Jones. James Jones was the wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yes, but to your point, though, Dennis, now they got to do a search again, and it's Murphy. Now, I think about legacy, okay, fine. Super Bowl 45 is amazing. Now, how do you get a four-time MVP quarterback that says he doesn't want to be here? How do you maneuver that? The pandemic was, that speaks for itself. Now you got to say, okay, why would you draft a quarterback in the first round, move up to get him, by the way, and draft Jordan Love when you have a quarterback? These are things when they write the documentary of Mark Murphy, you're going to say, wow, he had to go through a lot. And not to mention, if you think about getting the draft, the legacy of just making everything understand it economically. Gary taught me that word, by the way. You're going to benefit from it. Titletown Tech is like Silicon Valley, right in the middle of Green Bay.
Yeah.
This is truly amazing. I'm just so thrilled that we get a chance to do two things remember we always say two things are true.
Yeah.
You can honor Murphy and honor the history of football.
Right.
I love that.
Packers have already announced that they're promoting from within. Ed Policy will become the president and CEO in July. Gary, the only thing I can compare this to is like a big state fair.
You're right.
This is just an amazing display.
Right.
No, it is, because you have so many people, but they're not all Packer fans.
No, they're
right?
not.
They're people from a lot of other different organizations and teams. But I think they understand what Lambeau Field and what the Green Bay Packers mean to the NFL. Let me just say this too real quick, although about Mark Murphy. Now, I know a lot of media people didn't quite understand it, didn't like it. When he said, you know what, Matt LaFleur, that's my choice. I made that hire. So not only, he ushered in a new head coach, and not that LeRoy and I agreed with the Mike McCarthy and the way they handled it.
And a new reporting structure.
Structure. A lot of people didn't like that in the media, the way that he did it. So I would say this. If you're talking about the football side of it, A+. If you're talking about the social economic of what Green Bay is all about, A+. If you're talking about keeping the team relative after you lose a Hall of Famer, A+. I mean, he should go down in Packers lore for what he's been able to do. Just not from a organization standpoint, but also from a football standpoint.
LeRoy, I had a chance to talk to Mark Murphy yesterday for Spectrum News, and the thing that struck me is this is not a one-man show that he brought this draft here. This was a lot of people involved in the Packers organization and in the whole community and the whole state that brought this here.
I appreciate that, Dennis, Coach. The Green Bay Packers raised $8.5 million. They bidded to get it. Most cities, they just get it. The Packers bid. They put their money in, skin in the game, and said, we can host it. So it makes me feel good to do that. But you're right, Dennis. It is an orchestra. It's not a band, and that's the reason why it works with the shareholders.
Yeah.
This show is not that. It's the lead singer that is the star.
I can't sing it. Now Gary can sing. We got karaoke.
In the middle, right?
We got karaoke.
But this is really amazing when you think about you played here in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I started covering the NFL draft here in 1988.
50s? Yeah. 50s, right?
No.
Okay.
1988. Let's get it straight. This draft is so big now compared to what it was.
You're right, Dennis.
Well, you're right, and it's the history of it, of Green Bay and of Lambeau Field. You know, when I first got drafted here, Forrest Gregg was my head coach. Automatically, we knew about Vince Lombardi, right? Fuzzy Thurston, Bart Starr, right? Tony Canadeo. I mean, we knew about the history of what the organization was all about. We just had to win some football games. And thankful for Ron Wolf and what he was able to do with LeRoy and his group. And they came in and just ushered in what the Packers really should be about.
One last thing in this segment. You have the perspective of having been to other drafts where you've announced Packers selections. How does this compare?
Well, so you're rubbing it in that I'm not one
I didn't
selected?
say that. I didn't say
one
that.
Time I got
never brought that up.
And not select, move that to the side.
I didn't say any of that.
It's fine. I want my other
Are you okay?
teammates
You
to
sure?
No, I'm not okay, but I'm doing this for the camera. But I want every former player to embrace and experience that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll take a break. I thought you were going to say more there. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about who the Packers might take if they hold on to the 23rd selection in the first round as you look at some of the scenes in Green Bay. The NFL Draft is here, and the Roundtable continues on Spectrum News after this. The other thing, LeRoy, is I'm tired of it with the numbers. Say the players' names.
Most people have the internet. They know his name, but they may not know the number.
You guys ever been to a circus? Dennis is the ultimate ringmaster.
He is probably the smartest guy I know when it comes to sports.
What I try to do is bring out the best in them.
The Roundtable, Monday and Thursday nights at 7 on Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum.
Who's Alex? Hey, pal. You know who's,
See you, Dad. Happy birthday, Alex.
That's so sweet. You remembered.
It's all about connecting with seamless connectivity from Spectrum.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
Being a mom transformed how I view my job. No longer was it just facts and scripts, it was people. Just by getting involved and connecting with neighbors, I discovered the real Wisconsin. Every morning, it's that passion for storytelling, that passion for community that drives me. I feel incredibly blessed. I have an amazing family, and I'm living my dream back in a place I love to call home.
Back on the Roundtable on Spectrum News. NFL Draft is in Green Bay, and we're in Green Bay at the bar. You see some of the scenes there. Back with Hall of Famer LeRoy Butler and former Packers and Badgers running back Gary Ellerson. This will be the 8th draft for Brian Gutekunst as Packers general manager. We're going to put up graphically all the selections that the Packers have in this draft. They have 8 picks because they got a compensatory choice in the 7th round. And Gary, I'll start with you. I guess your gut feeling if you think they're going to stay at 23.
I feel like they are, but I don't know who they're going to pick. I mean, no one really does. We've been doing this for a long time.
They don't know who's going to be there.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a long time, right? Everybody wants to come on and talk about who the Packers are going to pick. Yeah. And it never happens. Now, I really like for them to take the wide receiver out of Arizona, Ted McMillan. Now, they've been in contact with him. Yeah. They've been to his workouts. He's been here, all that, which means that they're not going to take him. It's going to be some guy that has never visited Green Bay. It's going to be
from
some
a community
guy.
college.
I didn't know they were interested.
Right. It's going to be that guy. So whoever that guy is, normally that's how it works, right? Was it Cooper DeJean last year, the cornerback out of Iowa, who we thought that they were going to draft? They had a shot to take him in the first round and the second round, and they passed on him, went on to play Philadelphia and played really well. And they talked to him all the time. So I just say for the Packers, if I was saying what I want them to take, I would love for them to take a wide receiver in the first round, only because of Christian Watson not going to be available for about 8 games.
Something they haven't done since Javon Walker in 2002. And LeRoy, Gary makes an excellent point about these in-person visits, these top 30 visits they're called.
Yes.
Those have become, in my opinion, places where you can throw media and teams off the trail. Oh, they had this guy in. Well, that doesn't mean they're going to take that guy.
It sounds like you've been doing this for 40 years. Both of you are 100% correct. The Houston Oilers looked me in my eye and said, we're going to select you with the 16th pick first round. Child, please. I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't talk to that many teams. Then I thought about it. Well, I got a phone call from, rest in peace, Dick Duran, but it was short. So you never know who's going to be there, and you always want to draft 32. But when you're drafting in the 20s, if you see somebody like Jordan Love, yeah, I'll trade and go up. That's too many picks if you're trying to win a Super Bowl. Because I'm thinking about this. History shows that they get great wide receivers in the second round. That's where the flavor is. I've been always on the side of trading. Now I'm going to ask both of you guys a question. I know Dennis run the show. If they trade that pick and pick up second round picks, do the fan base understand or do they boo and get upset? Because you are hosting it.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of pressure on the young man. If you get him in the first round and the draft is here, that's a lot of pressure on him. So what's your thing?
But if you trade out of the first round, yeah, I think it would be deflating. If you trade up in the first round, I think it would be exhilarating.
Well, it would be because they don't often do that, although Jordan Love did it. But
you've got to give up something to do it.
You do, and I don't know if they didn't have the ammunition to do it. If you look at Brian Gutekunst in years past, he's always had a pick in every round. I don't think that's going to change. So it feels like to me that that's where they're going to stay. But to LeRoy is right. Second, third round picks for wide receivers. Fourth round, they've done an excellent job.
Yeah.
But if you look at, and you can get Hall of Famers too in the later rounds. But I think if you look by the letter of the law, if you get a receiver in the first round, those guys end up being Hall of Famers. Now, I love Jordy Nelson. I love James Jones, right? Greg Jennings.
Devontae Adams.
All those guys were great receivers.
Cobb.
But did you ask yourself, are any of those guys Hall of Famers? I'm looking for a Hall of Famer right now in the first round with the Green Bay Packers.
Why you got to look for Hall of Famer? I just want somebody to play in January that's a grown man. Because you got grown men out of the couple drafts. 7 and 56 grown men. You're developing them. Now it's about something we talk on the Elite 36 podcast. How close are they to winning the Super Bowl? And that's beating Philly. And the last time we checked, but the Banks free agent signing helps with that. That's why I would trade that pick and call Pittsburgh and say, let me have George Pickens. Let me have Garrett Wilson with the Jets. And then circle back. It's about to move now because Jordan Love going in his third year, Dennis. We're seeing that upward, path. Get him some weapons and let's go.
There are a lot of rumors about Pickens. Perhaps the best Packers draft was 1958. Here's your history lesson.
Okay.
Jack Vanese chose Dan Curry in the first round. Jim Taylor in the second round. Ray Nitschke also in the second round. Jerry Kramer in the fourth round. You want Hall of Famers?
Yeah.
That draft.
And that made a difference.
Well, you're good.
That made a difference in the team. Jack Vanese, was any relation to the Vanese and
his brother?
Chicago Bears?
Passed away, yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
probably the best draft in NFL history was the Pittsburgh Steelers, 1974. They picked 4 future Hall of Famers.
Wow.
Lynn Swann, Jack Lambert, John Stallworth, and Wisconsin's Mike Webster. And they signed Donnie Shell as an undrafted free agent. That's a good draft.
That's a
no
great
question.
Draft.
Whatever round they got him.
That's what you're looking for, though. But that's what you're looking for.
Yes.
All right, let me go to this. LeRoy, I'll start with you about Jair Alexander's status.
Yes, sir.
Let's say the Packers take a corner. That kid from Kentucky in the first round tonight. Does that tell you Alexander's not back?
No, he's still on the team.
Yeah, but is he back?
Then you ask me a question, and then you give me my answer.
Well, because you're political.
No, I'm not. I just like the guy. Is that the same as political?
Yes.
Well, let's go along with it. Until, my grandmother told me this, until you have something to replace that was great, don't get rid of it. If you have a replacement, fine. But until you get a guy that play like number 23 does, I'm going to keep him. I ain't in no rush.
He's a terrific player, but $17.5 million and has missed 50% of the games with injuries.
No, and you're right. And so right now, from a fan standpoint, you can't count on him because he hasn't been available. And LeRoy knows the saying. I know he's his buddy, loves him. He can't make the club in the tub.
That's a fact.
So he hadn't been available to go out there and play. We're trying to win a Super Bowl. We want our best corner that's out there. Let me have Will Johnson then with that first-round pick for the Green Bay Packers
out of University out of Michigan. Yeah. Take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the top of the draft, also the NFC North. We'll have some questions that the audience has provided. That's next on the Roundtable from Green Bay.
In Focus, Wisconsin, a half-hour show discussing decisions and potential solutions for issues making an impact in your community on Spectrum News 1. Weather on the Ones, your local forecast every 10 minutes.
That's where northwestern Wisconsin is going to see that rain.
Bringing you accurate information from your trusted weather experts whenever and wherever you need it.
Temperatures slide well into the 30s by Saturday.
Your community, your weather. Every 10 minutes. Wisconsin's calm in the storm. That's our commitment to you. Weather on the Ones on Spectrum News 1. Exclusively on Spectrum.
Great news, Spectrum Internet customers. Now you can try Spectrum Mobile risk-free for a full year at no cost to you. It's easier than ever to switch. Bring your own device and we'll pay off your phone balance up to $500 per line. Spectrum Mobile brings you a reliable nationwide 5G network you can count on wherever you go. Plus, upgrade your phone anytime, as many times as you want, for any reason when you get Unlimited Plus. Call or visit a store near you. Our specialists are ready to help you switch.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Our daily decisions can have a massive impact on the quality of our lives. From the foods we eat to the places we live and everything in between, our health can send us on a quest for answers. Join me as we break down the science and politics behind some of the most important topics affecting our communities and learn what we can do about them.
Watch Exploring Your Health on the Spectrum News app. Available on all of your favorite devices.
Back on the Roundtable on Spectrum News. We're in Green Bay at the bar for the NFL Draft with LeRoy, Butler, and Gary Ellerson. We appreciate you watching. Tennessee has the top pick tonight. Cleveland second, Giants third, Patriots fourth, Jaguars fifth. Now, Gary, a lot of rumors, though, the Bears are going to jump up for that fifth pick and take the running back, Genty, from Boise State.
Well, and they need him, and because I think that helps out your quarterback that got sacked 100 times last year. They need to go play action pass, and the offensive line is intact. They have the receivers. The defense looks pretty good. So I think this will help them out greatly, but I think the Raiders still loom large with Genty.
When you look at the NFC North division, LeRoy, has anything happened in the offseason that changes the order of it?
Well, the thing about Detroit, I'll start with them first, Dennis, because they lost their two coordinators. They still got their top players. St. Brown, Gibbs, and, of course, you got to understand something. If you can't compete in this entire, within your, division, it's hard to go to the conference. The Packers were what, 1-5, 1-6?
1-5.
And that was a field goal, like a fingernail away from being swept.
Yeah.
But still made the playoffs. So you have to understand something. You have to track these teams as well. Minnesota, I don't know how they'll do it with the quarterback coming back. I still think they're in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes. But I'm going to tell you guys, the most polarizing figures are two guys, and both of them are in Colorado. Travis Hunter should be the number one overall pick. All I've heard about, all interviews, Shedeur Sanders. That's it. That's all I've heard. Until that first five start to figure out what they want to do, I think it's going to be a big shock.
Do you think
tonight.
Sanders gets picked tonight?
If he gets past the Giants not only should be ashamed of themselves, but they're going to be bad for a long time. Yeah. They invested $160 million in Daniel Jones. Didn't work out. You got to develop a quarterback.
Draft questions we've got from viewers, and Gary, I'll start with you.
Sure.
Mark from Manitowoc. Are the teams that draft quarterbacks tonight just wishing and hoping?
They always are. It's a crapshoot, right? I think, and Cam Ward, this year there's not the quarterback like a Joe Burrow type in this draft, it feels like to me. So, yes, I think it's a crapshoot whenever you draft a quarterback like that.
LeRoy, Stephanie from Milwaukee, 10 years from now, who will be considered the best player in this draft?
I know Stephanie in Milwaukee. I live in Milwaukee. That's a great question. I think Travis Hunter has to be. I don't care where you put him. He improves your team. And every team that passes on him is, to me, sometimes, well, you know, I take that back. I want to respect these scouts. I really do. They put in a lot of hard hours. But sometimes you're looking for all-pro or Hall of Famer. Sometimes you just need a great player. I think he's your only sure shot. You have a great player.
Gary, this one's some red meat for you.
Yeah.
Are running backs back in style?
Hey.
Yeah, they are. And
Yes.
I think they're on a demise because I think of the offense is the way they were developing them. I think if you look at what Josh Jacobs was able to come in and do, I know we talk a lot about Saquon Barkley, but I think Josh Jacobs had a huge improvement on how the Green Bay Packers want to run their offense. I think our offense will be even better next year because now I think Matt LaFleur had an opportunity to see what Josh Jacobs is all about. Let's go play action pass. Let's help the quarterback out. Let's get a speed receiver out there.
That was from Jim in Menominee Falls. Bernadette in De Pere asks, if Cam Ward came out last year, where would he go in the draft?
Oh, last year?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. It's hard to see, though. Because think about some of the number one overall picks that just didn't pan out. Think about some of the guys that went 24, who's a Hall of Famer like Aaron Rodgers. It's hard to say because teams needing a quarterback and teams wanting one is different. But Ron Wolf always say, get one before you need one.
It's a very good non-answer. Tom,
you know it well.
Tom from Madison, Gary.
Yeah.
Does the fact the Badgers won't have any players taken in the first round tell you where that program is?
Yeah, it does. Because I think if you look in years past,
Why?
No, it
Why
does.
is it
The talent level hasn't been
not fair.
what it used to be.
It's fair.
Absolutely,
No,
it's fair.
not.
And the
Why
Badgers,
isn't it fair?
And the Badgers have to recruit better, and that's what it shows you. They're
right.
not recruiting on the level of Ohio State, Michigan. But I would say this, Dennis. This year in the first round, there will be more Big Ten players taken than any other conference that's out there.
We're going to leave it there, and that was a fair question. Gary Ellerson, LeRoy Butler, the Hall of Famer, thanks for watching the Roundtable on Spectrum News from the bar in Green Bay. The NFL Draft begins on Thursday night with the first round, then rounds 2 and 3 Friday night, and rounds 4 through 7 on Saturday. Enjoy the draft.